morning, everybody. Welcome to another round of coffee and questions. Or your favorite beverage if it's late in the day. What's the topic? Let's talk about welding carts. Specifically, we'll talk about, the Chicago Electric one that's for sale out at Harbor Freight and the Vulcan. Let me show you advertisements on both. All right, you can see that the Vulcan is going to be much more costly. It's also much more well built in terms of the thickness of the sheet metal, the durability, and everything else. But people out at the club, like I told you, I belong to a couple of forums. I belong to a local club where we show and tell, projects, the pros, the cons, the this, the that. I make notes, try to put it together, content if I think it's interesting enough, and bring it to you. Let's stick with the Chicago Electric Welding Cart. And there's a lot of criticism about it, and I'll go through that, but there are some fixes along the way that the people out at the club did to modify this and make it better, stronger, what have you. Now, the one guy said, yeah, but should you really have to do that? No, you probably shouldn't. Those things in quality control should have been fixed long ago in the manufacturing process, but I'm sure in China there is no quality control, at least at the manufacturing facility where these were made. But you can do the modifications yourself, and we'll get to that in a second. So let's jump into this and let's talk about the pros and the cons and what we can do. One comment is the sheet metal is not thick gauged enough to really call it a heavy-duty welding cart. Yeah, that's probably true. I wouldn't disagree with that. And it depends, on how many pounds, I guess, you're going to put on top of this. I'm assuming, because I tried it out at the club, you put a standard MIG welder on there, you'll be okay. What I liked about the cart the most when they brought it out there, I like how the drawers are on this. I really like the top drawer. Where you have like all the individual compartments, what have you. You can put all your consumables. You can put tips and shields, and you can put different things, and they're removable. The compartment dividers. So I really liked that part of it when I first looked at it, and the rest of the drawers, of course, and then the larger one on the bottom. You can, some of these things, when people write these reviews, and like I said, be careful. All these reviews a lot of times are written by a company that possibly, Harbor Freight, Amazon, or whoever, they hired them to write these reviews. And sometimes they hire them to write negative reviews about their competitors. So be careful, like in believing the comments and everything else, and you'll learn which are probably written by somebody else and which are legitimate, in time if you read enough of them. I told you before, I usually stick around the 3s and the 4s, but let's go back to the welding cart. The front casters, the front wheels, are terrible on this thing. I'd agree. They're not the best, and probably you'll get away with them for like a short period of time, but you should upgrade and swap them out. Again, should you do it? No, but is it an easy fix? Yeah, you can buy better casters, 2 of them. The back ones seem to work fine. I kind of grabbed it, pulled it around, and played around with it. But yeah, I can see replacing the front casters. Okay, now sometimes after assembly, people had to kind of tweak the drawers a little bit, and it doesn't sit flat on all 4 wheels. Sometimes it's only sitting on 3. I'm sure when you start putting some weight on there, all 4 will hit the floor. Is it a big deal? No, but I understand, what you're saying. When you first assemble it, it's not sitting true flat. The one out there was a little off. I didn't consider it a big deal because by the time you put the weight of, like, let's say the cylinder on the back and you put the MIG welder or, your plasma cutter or whatever on top, that weight is going to bring it down. So I wouldn't call it a deal breaker, but yeah, it is very thin sheet metal. You're going to have those issues. Now, the other thing was in the assembly process, they're giving you these really small sheet metal screws that hold most all of everything on here together, including, the handle. and the side hooks and everything else. And people criticized it. Well, it doesn't seem like these are going to last long at all. Now, out at the club, again, something you shouldn't have to do. After they lined them up, they went down to the hardware store and they bought a package, nuts and bolts that had lock washers of $2-3, whatever. They came home, they drilled them out real quickly, and they actually used these small, threaded bolts with, the lock washer on there. I thought that was a pretty good fix. I mean, a little bit of trouble, a little bit of extra effort, okay. But in the process of doing that, I mean, they did that with the side hooks. Now, they said if you have, a front attaching cable, MIG welder or whatever, the handle can possibly be in the way and it's an obstruction. Okay, there are two options. The one guy out at the club simply took a short 2x4, two of them, put one in the front on the very top on the front tray and put one in the back, and set his MIG welder on there. It gave it just enough of a boost so that his cables easily come over the top of the handle. Again, you can criticize the design or whatever you want to do, but that was an easy fix. Now, the other easy fix is they just took the handle and dropped it down a little bit, marked it, drilled the holes, and put those little bolts with the lock washers. Like I told you, boom, there you go. Should you have to go through these extra efforts? No, I get it, but they are easy fixes. I mean, if you happen to have one and you have those issues now and you don't want to return it, there's a couple of ways there, that you can deal with that. A lot of people complained that once they got it home and they took it out of the packaging, the box, they noticed it was dented, probably from rough use during, freight transport, what have you. I would encourage you, if you can do it, especially if you got a truck or what have you, after you buy it, when you get out to the parking lot, before you get home, take it out of the box and look it over quickly. Do you have all of the hardware? Is it damaged, scratched, bent, or is it messed up anywhere? Because if it is, you can return it right that second, rather than wait till you get home and then you realize that there was a problem with it and you got to drive, like a lot of people say, oh, I had to drive an hour back and I had to do this and I had to do that. Okay, take it apart out in the parking lot. There are a lot of tools and stuff I buy at Harbor Freight. I do what I can while I'm right there in the parking lot or in the store with the tool before I buy it to make sure I'm not going to run into those issues. So that should help you. And everybody keeps complaining about quality control with a lot of the Harbor Freight stuff. Well, a lot of the stuff is made in China. I said, yeah, what about the quality control? Well, like I told you, in this particular manufacturing, company, I don't think they probably have quality control. And if they do, it's very poor. This is what you need to deal with, but understanding things, the modifications and the tips and tricks will help you, I hope. So one of the club members says, well, don't you think, for $189 or $190, that the quality should be better than what it is? Yeah, but I also understand there probably isn't any quality control, like I keep saying. Okay, several people or more say in that very bottom compartment. Let me show you a picture. That the helmet won't fit in there. Okay, and then they criticize, the cabinet. I don't, I kind of like the cabinet down there, and it has that magnetic lock when the drawer drops down. No, the helmet probably wouldn't fit. I didn't try. I didn't have my welding helmet with me out at the club, but I don't consider it a deal breaker. Find somewhere else to hang, the helmet. You can use it to store angle grinders, drills, or whatever else in the bottom drawer. I think the drawers themselves are kind of nice to have on that welding cart. Okay, and then we have a handful of people or more that said the inside dimension of the top of the cart is smaller than their particular MIG welder. It doesn't fit into that tray correctly. And then they want to call it junk and all this other stuff. Well, no, it's not. It's your own fault. You should have measured it. You could have measured it in the parking lot and taken the measurements of your MIG welder with you and made sure that it was going to fit. If that's not the case, you can do like I told you earlier, a couple of short 2x4s will lift it up. Now, it's not going to stop you from tipping it over or something like that, I understand. But, you can put like a little, thicker platform in that recess and raise it up. So I don't consider it a deal breaker for two reasons. You should have known better, and if you didn't and you still want to keep it, you can return it. Harbor Freight will always take it back. But obviously, some of these people that wrote this comments in these reviews, they didn't take it back. They just want to turn around and call it crappy. Well, I don't think it is. You could have taken it back. Now, the platform on the very back for holding your gas, your tank, it's okay. Now, a medium tank will probably get by fine on that, but because it's made out of that thinner sheet metal and stuff, I have people out at the club, and myself included, I don't own the cart. I made my own. We'll get to that in a second, but the thing is, you can make it stronger in the back. If you're going to have one of the big cylinders, those are called H cylinders, if you're going to use those, and you're going to chain it and everything else, I mean, and you feel it's still too flimsy, you can re-strengthen it by putting a thicker piece of sheet metal there. And you can a lot of times get these out at your steel supplier in their scrap section. That's what I've done in the past. That way you're not buying a full sheet of it, and you can kind of buy what you need from those remnants of the cutoffs. Okay, some people talked about the paint itself kind of flaking off in different areas. One guy at the club said he just lightly hit it with sandpaper, like 150 grit, scuffed it, blew it off. Then he used gloss black lacquer and just touched it up. Again, should you have to do that on something like this for $189? No, but it was kind of an easy fix, I guess. That's one way you can view it. Let me show you real quick a few ads off Amazon and take a look at these carts. Some of them are almost identical. To this Chicago Electric one, but they've been rebranded and they're at a lower cost. And you can still do the same modifications that we talked about if you bought one of those, which is what a couple of the club members did. They said, well, rather than pay the Chicago Electric, $189, I bought these off Amazon and they're almost identical to that same cart, and we just made the modifications ourselves because you get a significant cost savings. That's true, but again, make sure that you take into account the dimensions, okay? The top tray, let's say, because that's where you're going to put your plasma cutter, your MIG welder. Measure your MIG welder, measure the top tray, and make sure it's going to fit in there snugly before you buy any of these things. That's my best advice to you. Now, before we conclude, I don't own any of these. I had a friend of mine tell me when I first got my Miller-Matic, it's in back of me, my Miller-Matic MIG welder, which I really like. It's a very powerful MIG welder. It's never let me down. Anyway, one of the most fun things that you can do is make your own welding cart. You can go to Harbor Freight and buy some decent casters. You can go to the metal wholesale supply place or whatever you have in town. You don't have to do it all in one day. And you can go and you can buy remnant pieces of steel, the cutoffs. Or the other thing that you can do, which is what I did, is I went down to some of the thrift stores. I asked them if they had any old bed frames. The one guy down at our place, here in town, kind of laughed and said, you know what? You see out there in the yard, there's a whole pile of them. You can have whatever you want for free. We don't want them. We're going to throw them out anyway. They're no good to us. Oh, okay. Even if I would have had to pay 10, 15 bucks, I don't know, whatever, I probably would have paid it. I brought those home, the bed frame rails. I cut them all into straight lengths and made a little pile of them. I went out to the steel supplier. I got myself some really thick sheet metal. And I came home and then I started myself to design it fairly old now, but it still works perfectly fine. And I made it to my own specifications. And he was right. It was a fun project. I mean, I had to sit and think my way through, how tall do I want it? And I thought, well, I'm a tall person because I'm 6'5". So I made this thing to my own dimensions. I really had a lot of fun doing it. And I would encourage you, if you got a MIG welder, even though, we talked about all these carts and all this stuff, think about it and see if it's something that you would be interested in doing, because you can do it very cheaply by checking these sources that I was telling you, and then you sit down, tape measure, play around, figure it out. It is kind of fun. Okay, folks, I'm the home handyman. That was just some thoughts, some tips and tricks for you. I hope you click subscribe, keep following me. If you know of something better or something that's less expensive, drop it in the comment below. Let me know what you did. Otherwise, it was a quick overview and some ideas on how you can not just modify it, but maybe, as you go along, you want to make your own. All right, you folks have a great day. I'll see you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.